Let me tell you about St. Francis, probably the most famous saint. His feast day is October the 4th, which is the day when he died, but there's so much more about him that you need to hear about. Like, for instance, his name wasn't Francis, it was Giovanni, and his dad called him the Frenchman because he was a silk trader, probably had a lot of trade with France, and that's where that name came from. Got nicknamed down to Francis. He was a carefree lad. He enjoyed partying, he enjoyed lovely clothes, and he was that sort of adventurer that was popular with the ladies. He went off to war. He was a bad soldier. He got captured almost straight away, spent a couple of years as a prisoner and came back, but took up his old lifestyle again, got back into that. Then he got ill and he started to ask questions about what's my life for and where am I going with all this. So he took a pilgrimage down to Rome, and there he met the poor and the beggars, and it really affected him. And he came back a changed man and took on the life of a beggar, tried to live more simply in what he dressed in, and identified with those people who had nothing. One day, working for his father, he went out with all the silk to sell in the market and gave it away. Wow. His father went mad and there was a big argument in the street, and in the end Francis says enough and takes off all his clothes, gives them to his father, say, they're yours, I now follow God. Can you imagine that? Stark naked in the high street. What a furore. He senses God saying to him, Francis, build my church, and there's a little church fallen down nearby that he starts to build up. And others join him, living a simple lifestyle, having nothing but begging for all their needs. And people are attracted to this because it's a different way of living. Eventually there's the Franciscan order formed of men and the Sister Clares of women who gather together to live like this. He organises his order, and these people start to go out and tell others about Jesus and about living more simply. Francis was hard on himself. He called his body Brother Donkey. He knew that his body wanted to lay in bed, eat more, take it easy. So he worked against his body, saying, come on, you've got to get up. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to fast and not eat food. Eventually, towards the end of his life, he became ill, and with the brothers around him, still listening to Psalms, he died. What does he teach us? Well, he teaches us care for the poor, care for the animals, care for nature. Perhaps he's most popular now as the patron saint of the environment, as we think about how we can look after that we've been given. Francis was a bit extreme, perhaps he was a bit fanatical at times, but that was what's so exciting about him. He didn't just say, oh yes, I'll follow you and that's it. He really followed Jesus.